welcome back to the Fallon Frequency Podcast, your go-to space for alignment and expansion and that unstoppable energy. I am your host and mindset mentor, Fallon, and I'm so excited to have you here on this episode. Today's episode is called Faith in the Void. It's trusting the process when you can't see the path, because we have all been there. You know, if mindset work and manifestations are something new to you, or if this is a big part of your journey, we know what that void is, that gap is, and basically how we hold the space in this void, in this gap. So let's go ahead and dive a little bit deeper, and like I said, we've all been there. There was a moment in my timeline, well, if I look back, probably many moments, if I'm honest, where, I was sitting alone, staring at a laptop, doing all the things, plugging in, doing the work, and thinking everything I thought I was supposed to be doing, supposed to be happening by now, isn't happening. I had no proof, I had no certainty, and no guarantees. And if I told you what I had been planning and masterminding, you probably would have called me crazy knowing my reality. And honestly, definitely along the journey, I've questioned myself. But beneath all of that noise, there was a quiet knowing, a deep, very stubborn, soul-led knowing that told me to keep going. If I had to trust something bigger, even when it didn't make logical sense. And really that moment, that trusting, was the beginning of everything. And it's that thing that nobody tells you when we're up leveling, when we're reaching for our dreams, when we're trying to get to that next level self, that, manifesting your dream life and quantum leaping and jumping timelines, it is not logical. It's not meant to be, though. And that's what I'm trying to say here. You're not operating inside old rules. You're not playing in this predictable thing. You're playing in this infinite possibility field. The rules are different here. So when your mind wants to cling to certainty, when it demands that proof and timelines and logical steps, I want to remind you of something. You're not building a logical life. You're building a limitless one. And limitless creations demand a different kind of trust. This is the kind where you keep showing up without visible evidence. It's where you're anchoring into your energy as if it's already happening. It's the kind where you're dancing in the unknown and you're playing in the unknown. You're not fearing it. Because when it looks like nothing is really happening for you in the physical, everything is happening for you in the energetic. So you're building momentum in the unseen. You're weaving realities through your beliefs. You're collapsing timelines with your commitment. And one day, I swear to you, you're going to look up from that laptop screen, that stretch, that gap in between, and you're going to realize it was happening the whole time. It was you the whole time. It always was. That sacred stretch that you're sitting with right now, it's not a punishment. It's not evidence that it's not working. It's literally the final quantum preparations. It is the bridge between being built in real time. You are building that bridge right now. It's your dream reality locking into your frequency. So I want you to breathe. I want you to keep walking across that bridge, because if this makes no logical sense, you're probably right where you're supposed to be. So this is where I'm going to set the stakes. This is really a crucial moment for you in this manifestation process. It is really where most people give up. But if you can hold the energy, it's where everything you've asked for is going to start forming behind the scenes. So sharing with you, for me, leaving yachting, no perfect plan when I was leaving yachting. I had a really steady career. I was making a great income. And I remember just knowing this pull, this nudge that I needed to do something different. I needed to change my reality. The only way to do that was to take action and hold the unknown. I, at the time, I still own this house. I bought a house when I was 25 years old on a whim for an investment. And me leaving yachting, I remember that being one of the fears creeping in. It was like shit, if I don't have a a salary. How am I going to afford this? And I was like, you know what? I got to do this thing. I'll figure it out along the way. And since then, I've been able to find renters and things have just fallen into place because I trusted that they would. It's like when I moved countries, to Australia. Everyone knows that story where I literally didn't have a place to live. I booked my Airbnb on my way over. It's the fear in the unknown, trusting before I saw what was happening in my tangible reality. So there's kind of like three major points that I do want to dive deeper into on this episode when we are when we're talking about that gap. And we're holding that space between who you are right now and who you want to be. And those three major points I want to go through are the void, the choice, and the breakthrough. So the void is this part where you have nothing but faith. It is your bridge. A lot of people call it the void. Some call it the gap. You know that what I'm talking about here. It's that road between who you are right now and who you want to be. That up-leveled next version of yourself. And it's really a bit strange. It can be a bit uncomfortable. And it's a place where, like I said, where you are to where you want to be. And I want to invite you to change the conversation around this and change the narrative that you have around the void and the gap. And is the way we're thinking about this space in between really what's keeping us stuck, what's keeping us not moving forward? Instead of calling it the void, why don't we start calling it the bridge? The bridge isn't a void. It's a living, breathing connection between you and your next level. For me, I like to call it the sacred stretch. You are stretching your emotions, your capacity, your faith, to your next level. Your identity is beginning to upgrade here. Your energy is calibrating to meet your desires. So when you're shifting your perspective like this, when you are choosing to see the bridge as an active, creative living process instead of some like passive hell waiting room that you're in, you're gonna change the entire relationship that you're having with your manifestation journey. You're gonna realize here that, hey, I'm not stuck. You're not behind. You are not lost. You are actually mid-creation, which is fucking exciting. You're already walking across that bridge. Every decision you're making, every time you're anchoring back into this faith of the unknown instead of fear, every time you're holding this vision when nothing outside has caught up yet, you are placing like an extra plank forward and a plank forward on this bridge. You're so much closer than you realize. I want you to imagine you're walking across this bridge, this beautiful bridge of yours, in the morning fog, okay? You can't fully see this destination yet. That doesn't mean it's not there. It's already waiting for you. It's just inevitable that you're going to get to the other side of this bridge, but you can't see everything. The bridge isn't some empty space for you. It's a connection. So every step you take, even if you can't see the full picture yet, it is taking you closer to your next level you, to that desired outcome that you want. And when the fog lifts, your divine timing is clicking in right there. You're realizing that you were always on the freaking path. You were always walking across that bridge. You're not stuck, okay? You're stretching into your next level. And that's why I like to call it the sacred stretch. You are deciding and reframing that this is a sacred stretch that we then have. And from there, we have a choice, okay? The choice. The moment you choose to believe anyways, the bridge isn't passive, it's active. And the choice to stay anchored in faith while you're in this sacred stretch is really what cements this upgrade into your next reality. It's like I said, it's not surviving the bridge, it's choosing to lead yourself across it. Every single moment inside this stretch, inside this sacred becoming that you're going through, you're making micro decisions. Decisions might say something like, I trust what's unfolding even when I can't see it. That's the whole point. We can't see it. We're not playing in this logical field. We are playing in an energetic field. I'm calibrating. I'm not collapsing. I am breathing life into the reality that I have already chosen. Faith isn't just a feeling. It's a frequency. It's a leadership choice. It's deciding day in and day out, breath by breath, that I am closing the gap between who I was and who I'm becoming. Every time you choose faith over fear, or trust over doubt, or neutrality over forcing things, you're literally pouring concrete into your bridge. You're making it real. You're fortifying it. You're locking into that next level up that you desire. It is becoming inevitable that you're going to reach that level. Your destination, your point B, that dream, that manifestation that you've been calling in, it's not out there. It's already magnetized to you. You're already meeting it halfway. And every time you breathe faith into that bridge, you're accelerating that meeting point. You're collapsing the difference. You're collapsing time. You are the architect. You are the activator. You are the energy that is sealing this bridge. You're literally sinking anchors into your new reality with every choice to trust this faith and this unknown. You're solidifying the unseen into the seen. Okay, so now that we've, decided that we're not in the void, in the gap, we're in the sacred stretch, and we've made the choice to stay there and have that faith over and over and over again, that, my friend, is when the breakthrough happens. That is how things click after you have that embodied trust. Because here's the thing. The moment that you truly embody this trust, and I'm not just saying that you say you trust something and it's happening. I'm saying that you're living it. You are breathing it. You are freaking embodying it. You are becoming magnetic to every single thing you've been chasing. You're not asking yourself questions like, when will it happen? You're not doubting if you're good enough. You're not negotiating your worth. And I kid you not, almost out of nowhere, when you embody this, things will start to click, and they will do so in such a rapid succession. For me, I wouldn't say it even felt like fireworks right away. It felt like this deep inner click, like a lock sliding into place, like this deep knowing, like an exhale, like, fuck, I made it. And I realized at the time I was no longer waiting for my life to begin. I was living in it. I was in the moment. I'd done it. That internal shift was my first manifestation. And then what happens when my internal shift is happening? My external is going to reflect that right back to me. My external did. It started to mirror it. Opportunities that maybe once felt stuck or weren't aligning started to open up with like no effort. They were finding me. Conversations that, maybe felt hard or I couldn't navigate. They were like so aligned after this. So I wasn't chasing, I was it. Faith had moved from something I was practicing to literally something I was embodying. I wasn't reaching for point B anymore. Point B was not a different place than I was. I was already vibrating at point B. And that really is what changes everything. It's not just about achieving some goal anymore. It's about who you're becoming to hold it, to receive it, to sustain it. Faith isn't just how you're closing this gap, this void, how you're getting through this sacred stretch, okay? It is the bridge. It is the rewiring. It's the evidence you're looking for before it even shows up. And when you truly get honest with yourself and live from that place, you're going to realize that you were really never waiting for a breakthrough because you are the breakthrough. Another analogy that might be great to cement this in, if you're thinking about like a plane flying through really thick clouds when you're, flying through the air, you cannot see anything, you don't know where you're going, but you still trust that the plane is climbing and it's flying and it's going through the sky. And before you know it, you break through those clouds and you have some epic, clear, beautiful view, and I'm sure some of you might be thinking, okay, Fallon, that all sounds great. But what if I'm already doing the work? What if I'm doing the journaling and I'm meditating and I'm saying the affirmations and I've got all the tools in my tool belt, but nothing's shifting for me? And you feel like you're saying all the right things, but deep down, are you still gripping onto control? Are you hustling in disguise? Yeah, you're journaling in the morning, but are you journaling and thinking about what you're journaling and feeling it? Or are you just journaling it as part of your to-do list because you were told that if you had gratitude and you vibrated it at a higher frequency, things were going to happen quicker for you? Okay, are you still micromanaging with the universe? Because I'm going to tell you a pretty straight up truth here. You cannot fake frequency. You can't. You can't fake your frequency. You can't mindset your way past this energetic work. So you might be doing the rituals, yes, but the real transformation does not come from a checklist. It comes from embodiment. From that moment, you stop performing faith and actually start living it. This is when things are going to shift. That is when the gap is going to close. And that is when everything not just closes, but accelerates. So if you are sitting there thinking like, well, I just don't know how to do that, I want to let you know that's okay. And you don't have to do it alone. And it's literally what I am guiding women through inside my world. It's where universal laws are meeting that energetic embodiment, where mindset work is not surface level. It is like deep soul level shifting. We're not slapping on some pretty affirmations over scarcity. We are rewiring that nervous system. We are dissolving outdated stories and building the internal safety and trust before the proof shows up. And from that place, that is when we leap. So if you've been feeling stuck, like you're doing all the things, circling in the same patterns, I want you to pause and I want you to ask yourself, am I practicing trust, or am I gripping some control disguised as strategy? Because this shift is in what you're doing. This shift isn't in what you're doing. It's who you're being. And to deepen it even more, I want to talk a bit further on faith, okay? Not as some soft whisper, some religious thing, but as a bold, energetic stand. The law of faith. Faith is so much more than a belief. It is energetic holding to me. It's the commitment to maintain your frequency even before your reality gives you any evidence. It is a leadership decision. It's saying, I don't need to see it yet. It's saying, I know that it's coming, and I choose to live from that knowing. If you think about, say you're sitting down at a restaurant and you order your food, you don't go chase the waiter every 5 minutes asking where your food is. You sit back, you relax, you enjoy the table, you have some conversations, maybe a nice glass of red, and you trust that your food's being prepared in the background, being prepared behind the scenes. Your desires are going to work the same here. You're putting in the work, you're doing the things, you're feeling the feelings, and you're trusting that it's on its way. It's holding that energy on the way, though. They are on their way, but you have to stop interrupting the delivery with doubt. So here's a little reframe for you. Doubt delays, faith accelerates. Every time we catch ourselves doubting, I want you to remember that. Doubt is delaying our progress, and faith is going to accelerate it. So we're going to tap back into faith. Your only job here is to hold the frequency and stop micromanaging the timeline. I promise you, controlling the how will exhaust you. Leading with faith, that is going to move mountains for you. And I want to further deepen this faith, this sacred stretch for you with the law of polarity. You guys know I love universal laws. I go back to universal laws for everything because they are what's running the show here. And this law, like all of the laws, is working for you even when it doesn't feel like it. The law of polarity is saying every challenge, every setback, every stuck moment is a setup for the equal and opposite breakthrough. So it's teaching you through contrast. The pain is carving space for more pleasure. The frustration is fine-tuning your clarity. If I could think about my own my own business and my first entrepreneur pursuit, I speak about this often. You know, for me, I learned so many lessons, and it taught me what I wanted and what I didn't want, and really, really clarified for me, fine-tuned things to get me to where I am. You know, it's like when people are broke, it taught them to value energetic wealth. You know, it's like feeling unseen to becoming magnetic, you know, feeling disconnected to guiding you to soul alignment. Polarity is like a rubber band. The farther you're going to pull it back, the bigger the contrast, the more momentum it's going to build and launch forward. So I want you to think about this, you know, next time you're in a dip. Instead of spiraling, you know, you want to look at your contrast. The contrast is giving you clarity. Okay, it's a moment for you to reframe things. It's really when we start energetically upgrading, you know, that version of you who's no longer waiting for the breakthroughs and realizing that you are the breakthrough. So with all of that said, with our sacred stretch, you know, wherever this episode finds you today, whether that be in the void, in the middle, in the sacred stretch of your journey, in that pullback moment before you slingshot the fuck forward, I want you to remember, you are not off your path. You're not even behind. You're being refined for what's already yours. And if you're ready to stop circling and really, really start collapsing those timelines to lead from embodiment and trust and magnetic alignment, and you do desire support in your process, you know where to find me. You can come hang out with me on Instagram, shoot me a DM at fallonmichaela.co, and just write, I'm ready. And I would love to connect and have a call with you, and we can see where you're at and where you want to go. You know, because you're, like I said, we're never waiting for this breakthrough. You are the breakthrough. As always, my loves, such a pleasure having you. It really, really means the world to me to connect with others walking this path. And if it resonated with you, if this episode landed with you, if it lit something within, I would love for you to subscribe. Please leave a review, share it with someone who really, you know, you feel needs to be heard or seen or just empowered, that little punch of empowerment, because that's why I'm here and that's why I do this. I absolutely love sharing my energy with you all. And I love having you here. And this journey is meant to be shared. And that's the beauty of this. So thank you again for being here. And I will catch you all in next week's episode. Bye.